daily sign-in sheets. So this is a practice that has been around for a very long time, back in the dinosaur days when I first started teaching even. This was a practice that I was introduced to as a new teacher and that my program required. And what it does is it offers children a meaningful opportunity to sign in each day. And I know that when we think about signing in, we think about going to the doctor's office and signing in, right? Or we think about going to pick up your child at your childcare facility or your early learning center or wherever, and sometimes you have to sign in and out there, right? But in the early childhood world, sign-in sheets have been around for a long time. And when I first started doing them way back in the dinosaur days, we just used blank paper on a clipboard and the kids would sign in when they entered the room. And it was a morning routine that we established right away. And the kids took to it like fish to water. And what it does, because it's not just a handwriting practice or anything like that, what it does is it gives kids a meaningful purpose for writing. So if we explain how adults sign in and how we do that at the doctor's office and how we do that in different places, and they understand that, they can start to understand that concept, then they understand that when they come to school, you know, they're signing in because they're going to be doing great work that day. It's meaningful to them because they're signing their name, and they understand really quickly that print carries meaning. And they loved it. And there were always a few issues, pushing and crowding around the sign-in sheet. Like there's so many different ways to manage it. So if you go to that blog post at Pre-K Pages, I kind of lay out all the different ways that you might be able to use these in your classroom. One of the things that I found was that having a little template set up and also using the kids' pictures. I'm a huge advocate for using children's photographs whenever possible to make things meaningful for them and to motivate them to write. So, so first of all, I have the printable that I can show you on the screen. So I'm going to share my screen in a minute here. And then I have the freebie version. It's just a very plain Jane template, but in the freebie version, I give you the instructions on how you can customize it to meet your needs. So if you have a little more time or you're more inclined to want to make your own, then I have that for you too. But if you want the done for you version, I have that. So let me pull this up so that you can see it on the screen. Let me see how to do that. To the broadcast. There it is. And no, I want to do the other way. I think I had this problem last time. There we go. That looks a little better, right? So here is the sign-in sheet packet. This is what the cover looks like in the store, the little blue border and the kind of purplish there. And that's the cover you can look for in the store. And then here we have all the different options. So like I said, there's a lot of options with this packet. So the way it works, it's probably easier if I show you these steps. So there's a lot of options that you can choose, but here is how it works. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to type in your kids' names directly into the document. So watch, I'll put Serena's name in there. And now you're going to choose what kind of a font do you want. And you don't have to download any fonts. This is all embedded for you. So we're going to choose, I don't know, Outline. And then if you want a funky border, you can do that. If you don't want one, don't choose one. Or it says, oops, now my computer's going to, no border. You can do that. And then you can also add a date here. And then it will print a date, like for the week of whatever. And how cool is that? Look at that. That is so super cool. Now here's another cool part. So you can choose this section of the packet. It just has the first letter of their name. So in the beginning of the year, you might want to use that option, and they can use highlighters in there, okay? And this one shows the date. You can choose how you want to do that. I only have one child's name in there, so it's only going to have one page done for me. But if I filled in all of the students' names, then I would have different options. So now you can see Serena has her whole name there, and then she has, this is the landscape version. It's editable over here for the days of the week. So if you teach in another language, you can put the days of the week in your language. Yeah, so there's all kinds of options. Let's do one with a border. So let's do leaves. Okay, so then we can, whoops, it's going to be a little slow because I'm sharing my screen. It doesn't like that. Computer is very picky, just like my dogs. Okay. It's going to be very slow. There we go. Okay. So it also gives you these really cute little borders that you can put around that will just appear. So you type the child's name, you choose your font, and then you select your border. And you can also add that date if you want. And then when you scroll down, those border options will be available to you in the packet. So it's super cool. Yeah, it says note, changing fonts may take several seconds, as well as clicking the border of your choice, especially when you're screen sharing. Oh, there it is. See, it was right. It takes a couple seconds. So now the borders have been added. So you can go in and you can add borders. And so one of the things that you can do with these is if you want to save these for student portfolios, if you wanted to save these for student portfolios, you could totally do that. And you could have the dates on these to show student progress. And then, of course, you know, depending on the levels of your students, at the beginning of the year, you might want just the first letter of their name. And then later in the year, you might want their whole name, and you can change the fonts. So yeah, so there is that there. Okay, so there's some questions over here in the comments. Wanda, you're a member of the Teaching Tribe. So Teaching Tribe members, you can go and grab these right now. These have been out for about a week. I don't know. I think I sent you an email in the Teaching Tribe about them, but I haven't told the public about them, but they've been around. Hey, Nell, this is the paid version. So you can go to Pre-K Pages, or Tom can drop a link for you. I'm going to show you the free version in just a minute. Tony says, just joined. Is there a charge for these? If you're just tuning into the broadcast, this is a paid product, but I have a freebie version. It's not slick and fancy like this, but it's kind of a DIY version that I'll share with you at the end. But we can drop a link to these for you in the comments below. Angel says, I love this. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm glad you like it. Wanda says she's been to Target 2 days so far this week. I have just been striking out, Wanda, just like left and right. I can't find anything at the dollar store right now. Okay, and Tom, that's not the right link to the Teaching Tribe. I'm sorry I didn't send you those links earlier. Okay, all right. So yeah, so you can do the different fonts. So you type your students' names in here, and then you choose your font, and then you can choose your border, and then you can use the date if you want to. If you don't want to do that, then you don't have to. But it is super fancy and super slick. So this is the paid version. And so now, can I come back on the screen? Will it let me? I don't know what it's doing. Okay, there we go. Just click the buttons until something happens, right? Okay, so now the freebie version, it's very basic, you guys, but you can, what I do is I show you how to do it on your own. If you don't want the super fancy slick one that does everything for you, it's like, you know, Cadillac Escalade versus the, what's a little car, a smart car, I don't know. So this version here, now this has student pictures in it. They're not real students, these are fake students. So you can add student photographs to it. So it's just a PowerPoint template. And the way that you're going to get this is, if you're in the Teaching Tribe, I will send it out in an email to you if you want the freebie version. But why would you if you have the Cadillac version in the Tribe, right? But if you wanted to add student pictures, you could use this. But then for everyone else, it's going to be on my mailing list. So if you signed up to my mailing list to get my updates, then this will go out to our mailing list subscribers tomorrow. So yeah, make sure you're on that list. And Tom, that's pre-kpages.com/go/subscribe. Sorry about that. So anyway, this version here, I have all the directions for you on how you can add your student photographs to it. So it's just a blank template. So imagine it without the children's pictures. It's just a template, right? So it's nothing fancy. And you can add your own words up here. So whatever you wanted to put there. And then there's directions on how to put your children's photographs in there. And then there's also directions on how to add text. And I've given you the names of the fonts, which you would have to download and install on your computer. And then you have to go in and type all the kids' names and all that. But if you wanted to, you could use this. And so here is a version. Oh, it smells good. Because I like to use these Centos markers. I found these on sale at Michael's not too long ago, and they smell amazing. They make your whole classroom smell amazing because each one has a different scent. But this watermelon one is my favorite. It's the most strongly scented one. Not overwhelming, but I can really smell it next to the paper. So if you use those, look out. You might have some kids sniffing the paper, like the old Ditto machine copies from the old days. But anyway, this one you can't see because it's very light, but underneath there is a dotted font. So I explain in this free template how you can insert your own fonts and put the children's names next to their picture, and then when they sign in, they can trace over those. And then I have the open font one, and this is just an outline. And then the children can write in the middle. And so what you do is you determine what level your kids are at and what they're ready for. And of course, use the blank one if your kids are, ready to write their name. But I thought these would be great for back to school for next year, since most of us here are winding down the school year, or we've already ended. This is a grade version. These are wonderful to use with highlighters. So kids can just cover up the gray part. And then, of course, since it's just a blank template, you could do the first letter of their name as well. And again, I just used all the different fonts here. This is the open font, and this is the dotted font. You use whatever font you have or want to use. And then, of course, what was I going to say? Oh, you could just leave it blank. Just like in here, if your kids are ready to fully write their name, you can just leave it blank and they can do that. And if you do everything in all caps, then when you add the children's names to it, then you do that in all caps and it will work just like that. And there's different programs that, have different requirements. And so if you work in a program where they require all caps, then you can totally do that. Hey, Tony. If you're a member of the Teaching Tribe, Tony, these are in the vault, so you can go and grab them. Angel says, I love this. Thank you. You're welcome. Nell likes it. You're welcome. Hi, Serena. I know. I used your name. I don't know. Maybe it was subconscious. Maybe I saw you join the broadcast, and I was like, oh, I don't know. Yeah. So maybe I'm not looking at the most current comments. I think that's what it is. Miriam says, phenomenal. Jen is here. She says, awesome. I love that open font and the blank ones. Yes. So you just customize it to meet the needs of the children that are in your class. And so every child is different. I don't know if I said this already, but if you wanted to have just a page for one child, like if you had like a sign-in book for children, then you would just put, the child's picture all the way down here, or whatever you wanted to do. You could even eliminate this column, and then they could each have their own page with, one space for each day of the week. Michelle says she loves this and can't wait to use it next year. You're welcome, Tony. Hey, Jinky, welcome. Thanks, Tom, for dropping that link. Hey, Debbie. Yeah. Becky says she loves the questions of the day too. Brenda says she's wanting to get into the tribe. She can't wait. Yes, make sure you're on the waiting list, Brenda. And then when a spot opens up, we will let you know. Miriam says, this is a great printable. In Argentina, we don't have this kind of material. Well, now you can, Miriam. Would love this. Summer school is coming, says Claudia. Yes. So, yeah, if you can use this in summer school, go for it, Claudia. This will make my life easier. That's exactly what it was designed for. So, yeah, that's what I make things for. I make things to make teachers' lives easier and better, so they can teach better, save time, and live more. That's my motto. So, yeah. All right. Hey, Olabisi. When does the tribe open again? Hey, Brenda, if you're on the waiting list, we will send you an email when a spot opens up. But if you want to wait until public enrollment, that will be in August. What font is best to use to start the year? I like to use either the gray one or the outline one. I moved to dots later. Yeah, I think the open font or the one with gray. Yeah, and then we use highlighters, yeah, in the beginning. How do you get on the waiting list for the Teaching Tribe? Good question, Jessica. So Tom, that link is, and I'll have Tom drop a link for you, Jessica. It's pre-kpages.com/the-teaching-tribe. That's where you can go and you can put your name on the waiting list. Yes, Miriam, it is easier for the teacher this way. I was, over the years, I've had years when we used sign-in sheets and other years when we didn't. Sometimes just because the number of children we had, it was so overwhelming, and if they all enter at the same time. So in the blog post, I have a couple of different ways that you can manage it. And the possibilities are endless. You're only limited by your imagination, right? So a couple of ways that I've seen other teachers do it, especially if they have a large class, is each child has their own folder, and they can get their folder, and then they have a personalized sign-in sheet, and they can sign in there. And then I've seen others where if your children sit at tables, like a group of kids, like 6 kids sit at a table, then they have a table sign-in sheet. And so then they can take turns signing in at their table, so they don't have to wait for like 24 kids in front of them, only 5 kids in front of them. I've seen it done that way. Yeah, there's all kinds of different ways to do it. Clipboards, each child has their own clipboard, their own folder, however it works best for you in your classroom. There's a few things in the blog post where you have to be, have to think about the procedure that you want to set up with this, how you're going to introduce it to them, and then, enticing them to write by using different types of materials. So if it starts to get stale, switch to the smelly markers. These babies right here, I love these. There's pipsqueak markers, there's glitter markers, colored pencils. Change it up every now and again, what they're using to sign in, what method or tool that they're using to sign in with, and it makes it fresh and fun again. You can print them with the borders. That's another thing too. That's really fun, is to print them with the borders on them. And then, so for example, if it was the fall, if you were learning about fall or whatever in September and October, you could print them with the leaf border or the pumpkin border, you choose. And then when you put them, I would just choose one every now and again to put in their portfolio to show growth, to show student growth, with those dates on them and the border. And then at the end of the year, you can take the ones you've collected from each child, and they make a really cute keepsake because they have all the different borders from throughout the year. So the different borders that are available are leaves, pumpkins, pilgrim hats, pine trees, mittens, ornaments, hearts, shamrocks, bunnies and carrots, eggs, flowers, stars, suns, and apples. So there's 14 different border choices that you can use. So plenty to last you for the whole year. Angel says, I need glitter markers. We could all use a little more glitter in our lives, right, Angel? Thanks. Oh, that's the old one, Jen. If you could take out the word old at the end. Thank you so much, though. That's so sweet. Brenda says, okay, I'm on the waiting list. Yay! Yay! I even have them wear different glasses or put on different hats when signing in. Yes, absolutely. I do that with like read and write around the room. They love that. I mean, it makes it so fun. Absolutely. You can even put like pencil toppers at the end of your markers and pencils, seasonal ones. I get those all the time because you can use them for finger puppets too. And they just think that's the coolest thing. Yeah. Yeah, Rhonda says if you have them grouped, you could have them sign in on the group sheet. Absolutely. Yes. Perfect. Awesome. My favorite color is glitter, said Angel. Well, then you're in the right grade level. Yes, you are. Okay, so I will send it out to everyone on the mailing list. If you're in the tribe, don't worry, you'll get it too. But make sure that you're on that mailing list, and I'll come back and drop a link to that mailing list in this video description for you so that you can get the free template. The one that I shared my screen and I showed you, that's the paid version. And that's the super slick one that does everything for you to save you time. This version, this kind of do-it-yourself version, if you're a do-it-yourself person, this might be the one for you. It's a freebie, and that will be coming in the mail, in the email tomorrow, in your email. Thanks, Jen. I need to get rid of that one that says old. My kids are so excited to use the binder that I don't really do anything special to it. They get pumped to write their name. One kid even writes her mom's number for some reason. I love that. Who knows? Why not? Number practice too. I'll just write my mom's phone number in there. That's really funny. But yeah, so Alyssa uses binders. That's another way to do it. You know, whatever works for you, whatever you have space for, time for, you know, maybe Alyssa, maybe do you put those on your school supply list, or how do you get those binders? Let us know. I've bought them before. You can get them in bulk, like at Costco and Sam's Club and places like that. But they can get pricey, and kids can be hard on them. But there's lots of other ways to do it. Clipboards are one of my faves because they're $1, and they usually last for a really long time. Awesome. All right, guys, let me know what questions you have about signing in, and I will go grab the links for you. Yeah, and I will pop those in so that you can go and read more all about what sign-in is and how it works, and ideas that you can use in your classroom to start next year off on the right foot with a rock-solid morning routine. So this can be one of the things the kids do as soon as they enter the classroom, or really whenever it works best in your schedule. But typically the way it's done is it's usually done when the children enter the classroom. So one of the first few things they do when they enter, after they put their belongings away, then they might sign in, and you might even want to transition them to the actual signing in part. Maybe in the beginning they just find their name card and they match it to their picture or something like that, and then maybe after a few weeks then you can transition them into the first letter, and then transition them into, you know, eventually into their whole name. You could even use last names on this because it's editable, right? So whatever you type on the paid version, whatever you type in that class list is what shows up. And so you're the one in control of your fingers. So you can type in their last name, their first name, all caps, whatever you want. Select your font, your borders, and you are good to go. So that version that I shared my screen with you, that version is in the Pre-K Pages store, or if you're a member of the tribe, it's in the vault. So go there and download it, and then tomorrow I will email this free version out. It doesn't have the kids' pictures in it because those are going to be the pictures that you take of the kids in your class. And that printable will show you how to add those photos and how to add the text if you wanted to make your own version and use your own fonts, because I know some of you have special fonts that you need to use too. So if you wanted to do that, then you could totally do that too. All right, let's see. Alyssa says, I have a K readiness binder for each child to track portfolio, and then one sign-in binder to look at progress. They can write their names by themselves, or they can copy it. In the beginning, she just has them find their name. Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, they have that sense of responsibility and ownership when they have their own folder or binder. Yeah, and you can put their picture on the cover of it, or the spine or whatever, and that gives it, it makes it even more meaningful for them. And, you know, it's one of those requirements to have their pictures all over the classroom, and this is just another way to get it in there. So, yeah. All right, so if you know anybody, I think I missed the top comments. Yes, it could be a lot of ink. That's true. You could print them out in black and white if you prefer. Totally. And I have totally done that before because ink does not grow on trees unless you have instant ink. But yeah, you can insert them in color and then print them in black and white. And no child's ever been harmed from a black and white photograph of themselves. So yeah, it would be a lot of ink. That's true. Yeah, so you can choose how you want to do that, any way that works best for you. All right, I hope that you got some ideas that you can take back and use in your classroom, whether that's this year, this summer, or next school year. And until next time, I'm usually live here Mondays and Wednesdays, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. I'm Vanessa Levin from Pre-K Pages. Until next time, have a great night. Bye.